This story is very disturbing. I'm about to read to you. Montana teacher resentenced to 10 years in prison for raping student. This is disgusting. A Montana teacher was sentenced Friday to 10 years in prison in a notorious student rape cause that dragged on 4 years and led to the censure of a judge who partially blamed the victim. Stacy Dean Rambold, 55, was resentenced by a new judge exactly a year after he completed an initial 1-month prison term for the crime. Rambold appeared to grimace as Friday's sentence was read by Judge Randall Spalding. He was then handcuffed and led away by deputies, pausing briefly to exchange words with family as he exited the courtroom. Rambold pleaded guilty last year to a single count of sexual intercourse without consent in the 2007 rape of 14-year-old Cherish Morales. I'm sorry, it's just... that's disgusting. A freshman in his Billings Senior High School business class. He continued suicide in 2010. Rambold's attorney had argued for a 2-year sentence, pointing out that the defendant had no prior criminal record, underwent sex offender treatment, and was considered by the states as a low risk to re-offend. Spalding indicated that the nature of the crime outweighed those factors. I considered your abuse and explanations of your position of trust as a teacher and specifically cherishes teachers, Spalding told the defendant. The state Supreme Court in April overturned Rambold's initial sentence, citing in part comments from Judge G. Todd Ball, who suggested the victim shared responsibility. Ball was censured and suspended for 31 days. He's stepping down when his term ends in January. Victim's father reacts. John Morales, the father of the victim, said he had hoped for a longer sentence, but added that 10 years was better than the 1 month Rambold previously served. During the hearing, Yellowstone County attorney Scott Twitto asked Judge Spalding to reject attempts by Rambold's attorney to make the victim's conduct with her teacher a factor in the sentencing. That included reference by the defendant's attorney to videotape interviews of the victim recorded by law enforcement prior to her death. Those recordings, which have never been made public, had been cited by Ball during his sentence. Under state law, children under 16 cannot consent to sexual intercourse. The last thing we want to do is sit here in the criminal justice system and say, what is the age? It doesn't matter. 14 is way too young. Twitto said, there has to be punishment. Punishment means prison. Rambold's attorney, Jay Lenzen, responded that there was no statute preventing the court from considering Morales' conduct. He pointed out that prosecutors has not objected to comments about the videotaped interview during Rambold's first sentencing hearing. Lanson requested for his client a 2-year sentence in the custody of the Deputy Department of Corrections with another 13 years suspended. That would have allowed Rambold to serve his time in a community setting rather than prison. Rambold cries in court. Rambold broke down crying during a brief statement to the court. Good, that's what he deserves. He said he was sorry for his actions and had worked hard to make himself a better person. In a recent letter to the court, he laminated the international publicly case attracted. No one can really appreciate and understand what it feels like to have so many people actually hate you and be disgusted by you. Rambold wrote, I do not mention this for the sake of empathy, but has been very hard. It was certain if the new sentence would be appealed, Lenson said. After the death of Morales, the prosecution's primary witness, Twitto's office, in 2010, struck a deal with Rambold that initially allowed him to avoid prison altogether. Rambold, however, violated that agreement by having unauthorized visits with relatives' children and entering into a relationship with an adult woman without telling his counselor. As a result, the case was revived, and Rambold pleaded guilty. 2 additionally counts of sexual intercourse without consent were dropped under the deal with prosecutors. During last year's sentencing, Ball suggested Morales had as much control over her rape as the defendant. He said she appeared older than her chronological age. He gave Rambold a 15-year term with all but 1 month suspended. That triggered an appeal from the Office of Attorney General Tim Fox and ultimately resulted in the case being reassigned to Spalding. This is disgusting about having sexual intercourse with a woman, a girl who's in high school. That is just disgusting. It makes me sick. I mean, people are sick nowadays. They don't give shit what they do. I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, it's against the law to have intercourse if you're a teacher and if you're the students. Thanks, guys.